Today on Simply Money, we're going to talk about choosing a credit card or whether you should even have a credit card at all. There are different schools of thought on whether you should own or to utilize a credit card in any form or fashion. Those who are on the one side say you shouldn't even have them, the Dave Ramseys. Get rid of them, they're evil. I don't want to go to that extreme. I think they can be extremely dangerous. I think you need to take some things into considerations, but I want to provide you some information about how to choose a credit card and how to use it wisely. Just like anything, money is not the root of all evil. Credit cards are not the root of all evil. Credit cards can be utilized. They can make your life more convenient. But I do challenge you to consider some things about your personality as well. So join me as we dive into some of these topics and how to choose a credit card or whether you should have one at all. First of all, you need to decide what type of credit card do you want. And you need to be careful and do your research. Make sure there are no hidden fees. For example, just off the top of my head, American Express, you're going to pay an annual fee to utilize their card. That probably isn't going to be worth it because you're paying a fee. You're not just getting rewards, you're paying to utilize their card. There are many cards out there that offer you a card for free. There's no fees unless you don't pay it off in full each and every month. So there's two things we want to look at. We want to maximize returns or rewards, and we want to minimize fees. So a zero fee may not necessarily be the best if you get better rewards and you're utilizing it in a way that benefits you. And only you know that. There's not a one size fits all. Like all things in personal finance, this is a personal decision, and you need to understand your personal finances and how you're going to utilize a credit card. If you want it just for convenience while traveling, to minimize the amount of cash you have to carry, those types of things, that is totally up to you. But you want to maximize rewards, minimize fees. You also want to assess your spending habits. Where do you spend the bulk of your money? What category? Are you heavy at restaurants or at grocery stores, at gas stations? What type of reward is going to be utilized and provide you the best return based on your current spending habits and your budget? Is your budget filled with opportunities to gain rewards because of the things that you use on a regular basis? Then perhaps you want a credit card that enables you to utilize that, whether it's on gasoline for your car, whether it's on travel, perhaps you're self-employed and you have to rent cars often or travel by airline. These are things you have to look at and consider, and where will you benefit the most based on your spending habits. Then you have to look at what type of credit card rewards are available. Some only provide you with rewards to purchase other items. Perhaps it's at a retail store and you get points that you can use at their store. For example, I know Amazon, if you use their credit card on their Amazon store, you get 5% toward points for spending on Amazon. So unless you want to use your points to buy other things that you're going to need to buy, you may not want to use that type of card. There are other cards that offer a combination of cashback or rewards to use on purchasing items. So you have to determine, how do you want to capitalize on those rewards? Maybe it's for mileage for trips. When you spend mileage on your work trips, then you get to use those free mileage on your entertainment and free vacation trip miles. So again, that is up to you and how you budget, how you spend, and what will be most beneficial and advantageous for you. But again, look at all of those because some of those have hidden fees or annual fees, even if you pay them off month to month, which again, I am 100% behind. If you're going to use a credit card at all, you should plan on paying it off. So month to month, that is part of your budget. If I use my credit card to go to the grocery store and I spend $200, I go to my budget and I transfer $200 out of my grocery fund and I put it into the credit card fund. So when that bill comes for the credit card, that money is already there. So I have a bill at the end of the month for $200 on my credit card. I just transfer that money out of my bank because it's already allocated in the credit card. And then I don't have to wonder, ooh, how am I going to pay this? I forgot that I charged this 28 days ago. I personally like cash back. because that gives you the most flexibility to utilize the money how you want. Again, that's me personally. You have to make your personal decision. I know people who have taken vacations and they've not paid a dime for it. Now, some people say, oh, I went on this fancy vacation. It was all paid for by my rewards. But what they don't tell you is that they've been paying interest on using those cards for years and years. And they've actually probably spent more utilizing those points than if they had just saved their money and not paid the interest on those credit cards and put that money toward their trip. Again, this is only advantageous if you're utilizing them and paying them off in full every month and not paying fees and not paying interest charges. You need to make sure you understand how that you can redeem points if there's expiration dates and all those types of things. Make sure you're capitalizing and utilizing them to their fullest and you understand what you're getting into. Now, again, I mentioned you need to look at annual fees. That is a big one that a lot of companies will get you. Maybe it's $100 a year annually. If you're earning $300 off your points, but you lost 100 of that because of fees, you may want to look at another card that doesn't have an annual fee. There may be times where, because of your situation, paying an annual fee is advantageous because of the extra amount of points and benefits and rewards that you receive from that opportunity. Again, you have to evaluate that and look at that to make sure it's advantageous and not able to use another card that doesn't have a fee at all. I steer away from cards that have fees in any form or fashion just because I don't like paying fees. But you may have an opportunity where it is advantageous for you. You also need to look at things like foreign transaction fees. If you travel internationally and you use cards, a lot of cards have foreign transaction fees. So you need to be aware of that if you plan on using it for international travel. Again, if you don't travel internationally, that's not an issue you need to worry about, but something for some people to consider and to make sure they're looking at the fine print on that. Additionally, look at late payment fees. This is where they get you. They're willing to front you the money for 28 days or 30 days, whatever the billing cycle is, because they know so many people are not disciplined and they will end up not paying it in full. And when that bill comes due, now they're charging you that 18, 20, 21% interest on the remaining balance. And that's where they start making their money and where you start getting into a spiral of debt. Make sure you have the discipline to pay this off every month. If you do not have the discipline, you should not be even considering credit cards. You should tear them up, rip them up, and pay cash. We'll get into that again in a minute, but I just want to reiterate that. Be disciplined, use this to your advantage, or don't use it at all because it will spiral into an unhealthy financial situation you do not want to be in. We have talked a lot about compound interest in the positive way on this channel. Look at some of the other videos that we have and take a peek at that link I provided right here on how compound interest works. It's wonderful. It's a powerful tool to build your wealth. But credit cards and banks, they understand how that works better than anybody. That's why they're willing to let you compound interest to them because they're making a killing off of you borrowing money from them on a short-term basis. Make sure you are not giving them compound interest. Pay it off in full. Also, look for additional benefits that some cards offer, like extended warranties and things of that nature, purchase protection. Some of the credit cards offer better protection and better opportunities than others. So look and read the fine print. I know it can be monotonous, but when you're dealing with your money, you should be diligent and make sure you're doing your homework and reading the fine print on those documents. If you don't understand what something is, research it. Get on Google, get on YouTube, type in what is an APR? What is this term? What is that term? Research, make sure you understand what it says. Sometimes they'll write things in a way that are very complicated for the average person, trying to just gloss you over and think, oh, this is great. This is all good. And there's that fine print with some terms maybe you don't understand that can catch you. If you do not understand it 100%, hold off. Don't do this. This is not for you yet. Make sure you understand how it works and how it works to your benefit, or don't get involved in it at all. Now, we can give you some examples of good and bad of people who have used credit cards for their benefit. I'll be honest, I don't like credit cards, but I use them. I use credit cards for the convenience. I use credit cards for points. I never carry a balance on them. I pay them off every month. And like I said, when I go out to eat, when I go to the grocery store, when I fill up my gas tank, I take that just like I just paid for it with my debit card or with cash. I take the cash out of the fund, gas fund, over to the credit card, grocery fund, over to the credit card, restaurant, over to the credit card. That way, I've already spent it out of my budget and I know it's ready to pay. When that bill comes due, I'm not going to be caught off guard on having to pay more than I'm prepared for in my budget, and then I pay it in full. Then I take my reward points, and this is me. I put my reward points into my savings. It's just an extra savings opportunity that I utilize, and then I just let that build on compound interest working in my favor. You have to ask yourself, can you manage using a credit card responsibly? If the answer is no, or I'm not sure, then don't use them. If you have credit cards and you can't say 100% sure that you can use them responsibly, you need to get rid of them. Maybe down the road, you'll build financial discipline and you can go ahead and use them again. I want to give you an exercise to try. If you've never done this, I encourage you to try this. It's eye opening because it is true. Spending cash hurts more than using a credit card, and we can become numb and callous with our spending using a credit card because we don't feel the pinch, we don't feel the pain. Perhaps you use a credit card on a day to day basis. You go to the store, you spend $5 and you use your credit card. And you may try that with cash and you go and spend $5 with cash. And you think, well, it didn't really feel much different. I challenge you, whether you have a mortgage or rent, a car payment, go to the bank, withdraw that amount, withdraw your mortgage amount, walk over, drive over to the bank where you pay that mortgage and hand them that cash. See how that feels to hand over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever your mortgage is in cash. See how that feels compared to just writing a check or having it on auto pay. Try that when you go out to eat. Try that when you make a car payment. Take out the money that you would normally just send, that's just an electronic transfer, and feel that cash. And then bring it over to them and hand it to them. See what that feels like. It's a different feeling. If you can handle that, then you can probably handle using the credit card responsibly as well because you understand the value of that transaction, although it's only electronic. You understand the value of what you're handing over. So that's the video today. Picking the right credit card to maximize your return, your rewards, and minimizing your fees. But bottom line, if you're not ready to use it, don't get involved with them. Stay clear of credit cards. We'll see you next time on Simply Money.